should Clyde Drexler have a statue in Portland? Yes or no?
Oh.
Vote or vote. Vote and vote hard. Vote yes or no.
Is this a thing, or did you just kind of conjure this up?
No, this is a thing because he has a son, which I didn't know, but he does.
Mm-hmm.
And his son's name is Adam. And Adam has a Twitter account. And Adam tweeted that he didn't understand why Portland did not have a statue of his daddy. And then, of course, you know what that does.
Yeah.
That fires up Blazers Twitter.
Was this a while ago?
I saw it
don't
today.
think so. I saw this get legs.
I don't know
today
why,
and yesterday.
but I seem to remember Drexler's kid doing something before as well. I feel like he may have stirred the pot once or twice before.
His handle is at DrexGlides2.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can pull it up for you.
Does kid play or no?
What?
Does kid play ball?
I have no idea. This is the first I didn't even know he existed. But it says on his Twitter bio, professional athlete.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think he plays overseas.
Adam Drexler.
Yeah. And he's also a composer.
Oh.
And he's a co-host of a podcast, but who isn't?
Boy, he does have a lot of things going on. Looks like he played at Houston.
And he's got hashtag Rip City on his bio, too.
All right.
But this was 4 hours ago. He tweets, Rip City, I see I hurt some of your feelings with my statue question. You do realize you can have multiple statues. You can celebrate all the Blazers greats. Bill, Dame, everybody can get a statue. Me personally, two of my favorite players growing up were Brandon Roy and Aldridge. I would love to see them honored in that way.
Oh, God.
I'm
really?
a fan, too.
Come on.
But his question was yesterday. He said, hey, Rip City, got a question for you. Why does my father not have a statue in Portland? Well, that got Blazers Twitter going, and then he started mixing it up with people who were saying, I think the overriding theme was Clyde. People here don't think Clyde really cares about Portland. He's a Houston guy.
Yes.
And so people were telling Adam that, and he was not happy about that. Adam would chime back and say, well, he's just very private. Like he doesn't do anything in Houston. He doesn't do anything in Portland. He doesn't do anything. All he does is golf, and he's just a really private guy. So anyway,
Sure.
That's how it went.
Okay.
I did see one person that was getting some traction from the Blazer fan base that said, I worked for the franchise for 10 years and I saw your dad come through the doors once. Maybe if he spent as much time or cared as much about the city as we cared about him when he played, he would have a statue.
Yeah, no, I think
so. And I don't know if that's fair or accurate, but it was one response that was getting.
I think it's fair when enough people think it.
He's not tied to the city. He's not.
But enough people think that I don't think you can say that's unfair when that really is. It's not like people make up narratives.
No.
Right? Like
they're there for a reason.
Yeah. And that's the narrative with him. Now, I don't know if that means he shouldn't have a statue. I've never thought once about who does and doesn't have a statue. Apparently, no one from Rip City has a statue.
Should there be a requirement to get a statue?
Well, okay.
Well, I think a title. Well, that's what I think.
Well, first off, statues.
So to me, the only guy who should have a statue, two guys, are qualify for a statue. Bill Walton and Jack Ramsey. In this city, that's my criteria.
Yeah, I think Lillard one day will have a statue. I hope so. Especially if he comes back and finishes his career here, as I think he wants to. I think he gets a statue. I do. I think he's the greatest player in franchise history. I think he embraced the city like no other. I can see building a statue, but also statues have become kind of, I think this is a fairly new thing. Like it used to be like you really, really had to do something to get a statue. And now I feel like they're just kind of putting them up. If you're a Hall of Famer, like the Lakers, they got a bunch of statues. You go to the Tigers Stadium out there, they got a bunch of statues. You're seeing this more and more. Yankees have Monument Park out there, which I guess is statue light. So I don't know. I just find it weird for anyone, because if you put a statue of Drexler up, it's kind of cool, but I don't know anyone that's clamoring for it. Like in Seattle, the Griffey statue out in front of T-Mobile, they want that.
Yeah,
like the fans there lose their ass,
and they didn't win a title. He didn't stay there his whole career, but he's iconic.
He's iconic. I mean, there was a brick in front of Safeco when they did that said and Griffey bought it. It's the first one laid, I guess, and it says like to the house that Ken built, and it's got like his kid's name on it. Like Griffey is that team. As great as Drexler was, and I grew up in the peak Drexler era, Drexler's not Portland. When you think of the Portland Trailblazers, as great as Drexler was, and you can make the argument he's the greatest Blazer of all time. Played, 11, 12 years here, a couple finals appearances. For a while was considered the second or third best player in the league. Dream Team. I mean, look, Drexler's bona fides, or you
His
can't
resume
question.
doesn't need defense.
It's ridiculous. But when I think of Portland, I don't think of Drexler, and that's, and like I said, I grew up here. I think about Kersey more than I do Drexler. I think there's more Kersey, Buck, Porter fans in the city than there are Drexler fans.
And if you had a bunch of statues of those guys already, maybe there'd be an argument for a Drexler one, but you're not going to put one up of him and not have some of those other guys you talked about.
It's a little weird. But then he went down the road of Brandon Roy and LaMarcus. Stop it. Really, you're going to put a statue up for LaMarcus Aldridge? Seriously, that, like, your whole argument went out the window when you threw that out there. But I could see one. Rob is right though. Like, if you're building one, Bill and Jack, like,
yeah,
it's a little like in front of the fountain there. If you had one of Jack Ramsey in the plaid and one of Walton in the headband there, if you had that side by side in front of the fountain, that makes sense.
See, I just think we've got, so this guy, Drexler's kid, is just, he's getting a little too wild with the idea of that everyone should have a statue. Like, this is not akin to retired jerseys.
No.
Statues are special.
Yes.
Retired jerseys, and the Blazers have a lot of retired jerseys, don't
Yes, they
they?
do. More so than they should.
Right. So they need to tone that down and like, you've got to really have been special to get a statue. And to me, I think you got to bring a title. I don't even think Lillard should have a statue, but there's no statues. If there were one, if there was one, Drexler would not even be in my top 4. If you had to put one up.
If you had to put
doesn't
one
make
up.
your Rushmore.
No. Not for Portland.
I'm looking here at the most famous sports statues.
He says, yeah, who's the most?
Well, like Fenway's got 4 of them out front.
Okay, but well, all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Who?
their 4 is they've got
Teddy?
they got Pesky, they got Teddy Williams. It's like I'm looking here. I'm trying to see it. It says teammates. So I know Pesky and Ted. I'm not sure who the other 2 are. Jim Brown's got one. Pat Tillman's got one out in front of ASU Stadium, which is awesome.
Well, there is a Bill Walton statue in San Diego.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Him and his bike.
The most famous one is Jordan out in front of the.
Well, you got Kobe, right?
Yeah. Well, the Lakers have a couple.
And Dirk.
Yep.
Dirk has one, but again,
Dirk has one.
He brought them a title.
Brought him a title.
That's what I think. That's the line for a statue. You got to have been a champ.
Yeah.
Brought a title to the city.
Yeah, the Lakers have like 5 or 6 now that they've put
Well,
up.
they've got a lot of guys that brought titles.
Don Shula's got one. Warren Spahn's got one. I mean, you're talking Pat Summitt's got one. Joe Paterno had one.
Pat Summit, I get.
Yeah. Willie Mays.
Joe Pong.
And Willie McCovey.
Yeah,
out
Mays
there.
McCovey and Juan Marichal all have one at Oracle Park.
So
Bobby Orr.
one of the people tweeted.
That's a great statue because that's the dive, right?
The dive.
Yeah.
One of the people tweeted back at Adam Drexler, and they said, he embraces Houston way more than us. He never publicly supports the Blazers. Maybe if he shows us some more love, because we definitely appreciated him. And Adam Drexler said, he never publicly does anything. He is and always has been a private guy. He rarely even does interviews.
Well,
Siblings and I are all born in Portland. We come back to visit at least a few times a year, still have family that lives there. What do you want him to do? Come to your house?
See, it just kind of sounds like sour grapes on the part of a kid. You've got your number retired. Drexler Drive, for God's sakes, in front of the Moda Center. You got a road. You got a number. I don't know. You're upset that
that should be enough.
It just seems a little.
So then this guy says, well, wasn't he part of Houston's broadcast team for like 15 years too? It's stuff like this that he does for Houston, but not for Portland. I get he has a long time history with Houston and Hakeem, but I can't remember the last time I saw him attend a Blazer game. And then it says he couldn't even be bothered to attend or comment when Dame got his record. And then Adam Drexler says, well, Nathan, I know that after he was done playing, he was seeking to get into coaching, broadcasting, or management, and the Blazers did not assist with any of those ventures where Houston did. It's not a hate thing. I would say there just wasn't an opportunity.
Yeah, I just feel like anytime you have to, and maybe this is just me, there's 2 things that I don't like that particularly get underneath my bonnet. One, public grieving drives me crazy. Kevin Garnett, I'm looking right at you. The old, Hey,
Sit in Flip Saunders.
it's the dumbest. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Flip Saunders dies, and so Kevin Garnett's like, hey, I'm going to go sit in his parking spot. But hey, everyone make sure you photograph me so I can put it on Instagram. You are such a douche.
Put a
It's
nice
unbelievable.
black and white filter on it.
You're such an asshat at that point. Really? Like that's what you're doing to honor your dead friend. And the other one is public groveling for status. Like it drives me. I should be in the Hall of Fame. I should have my jersey retired. I should have this. I should have that. Well, I'm glad you think that. Shut your hole, and hopefully one day the people that the work that you put out there, that the people appreciate it. One of my favorite things about Dale Murphy, and I love Dale Murphy, and Dale Murphy should be in the Hall of Fame. You know who doesn't bitch and moan about Dale Murphy not being in the Hall of Fame? Dale Murphy. He's always like, yeah, well, that's what I did.
He's moved on now.
He's moved on, and it's just.
He's like, the situation is what it'll be, and that's fine.
But listening to Pete Rose, fat ass, every 2 seconds, bitching, it just drives me crazy. So Drexler probably, like, if you put up a statue, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. But the fact that your kid is out there beating the drum for you, it makes me not want to put a statue of Drexler up there.
So vote on our poll question. It is, let's see here, at 1080 The Fan on X. Should Clyde Drexler have a statue in Portland? Yes or no?
This is going to be overwhelmingly no, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think he is
no. For as good as
beloved like Kersey certainly was.
Yeah.
And like Porter even.
Is Drexler, this is a separate poll question, but is there, because Drexler was great. I mean, unquestioned greatness. 12 years here, I think. Has there been someone that has played longer and was greater in a city that is just kind of meh, like Clyde is? I mean, because in most places, when you have that career for that long, like, you are beloved. And I don't think he's beloved here. He's appreciated,
now,
but I don't think he's beloved.
Did the Salt Lake people, is the Karl Malone, John Stockton?
They loved them. Now,
I feel like both guys are kind of schmucks to the point where the cities kind of don't like them.
I'd be interested to see now, but when I was there, they could do no wrong. And so I was there. I was in Utah during the peak. I mean, I was there during the Jordan finals, the final shot. I'm telling you, every other dealership was Karl Malone, and John Stockton could have run for. John Stockton wasn't Mormon, and he could have been prophet of the LDS Church. They loved those two guys. Now with the whole COVID thing and Carl's pedophilia, I don't know. I don't know if the shine has come off, but at one point,
life comes at you fast.
They were like Malone, especially was like, he was a folk hero there. He drove around in an 18-wheeler, like with the full-on trailer that was custom painted, and he would work like. Karl Malone was like Paul Bunyan there in Utah.
Another guy says, I don't think Clyde has had a presence in Portland in 30 years, never shown much love. There's your answer.
Yeah.
And Adam Drexler says, well, what kind of presence do you want him to have? This always throws me for a loop. He's retired, never wanted the spotlight, and spends his time golfing. It's weird to hear Portland fans say someone who spent 10 years and raised a family there say that he didn't embrace the city. So he just doesn't get it.
Yeah. That's why you're not getting a statue.
Yeah.
So
well,
sorry.
and statue.
You're not.
I don't think he's statue worthy anyway.
No, it's not happening.
Not many Blazers are.
Let it go, Adam.
At least in my opinion.
Let it go.
So there's a poll. Vote when we come back.
Oh, by the way, best statue, Rocky. Hello.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good one.
It is
Very famous.
It's the best.